Good morning, traders. This is the second series of the daily webinar. I think there will be about 3. I'll try to see if I can do 2 or 3, make it as less as possible. And Happy New Year to all of you. Again, just a reminder, in case you're watching this one and you haven't seen the first one for today, there are going to be about 3 or 4 videos on YouTube as well as on Shared Vision. All right, so let me show you very quick. Shared Vision. 1 second. Bring it back here. You can go and follow me here. You go scroll down to the, you can scroll down to, oh, this is my channel. Let's go to Share Vision. When you go to Share Vision, scroll down to the top channels, click on ProWave Edge. Make sure you follow, you like, you can watch some of the videos here, comment. All the videos that I do today would be up here. Plus, there will be some videos that wouldn't be on YouTube, but would only be on Share Vision, right? So you may want to come here. This is a very nice site. They have a lot of videos there, not only mine, actually. There's a lot of videos you can look at, all kinds of stuff here. But if you like the work I do, you can come follow me here and do it. You will get some updates of very short 5-minute videos with trade setups for the day. Now, there might not be a trade setup today, but if there's a trade setup, I'll post it during the week, this entire week, and maybe I will extend that into the month. I will be posting a lot of trade setups, which is concrete trade setups. This is the entry, this is the exit, this is what I'm planning to do. This is the, about 5 minutes. So there'll be a lot of them here. Follow me, you will get set up the notification and you will get it when I post it. Thank you. If you like the work I do, share it. And let's go from there. I hope to see all of you actually in Trade Vision. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip all the crosses. I haven't done the crosses. I've done the majors only, and I'm going to skip all the crosses. And I'm going to do stocks and, if possible, do cryptos in here. So this will be one video with stocks and cryptos. And then from there, I'll come back and do the crosses. I'll pick the crosses that actually has a setup and post it. So you don't have to look at each one of them. So on Share Vision, you will have them there. Let's go. So we're in oil. I'm going to do long-term and short-term since this is the start of the year. So we'll go with the daily, what we think is the daily forecast. So on the daily forecast, if you actually look at it like daily, weekly forecast, what you can see is that oil is tend to go up, right? We broke the lows and we are going up, right? It is going up. But if you look at what happened previously when it came down, there was a sharp move here. And then there was like some kind of a consolidation and a drop and a pullback and a drop. So there's a high probability. There's a very high probability that either this here was a running flat, and that was the end of the structure. We're coming to break the top. That's one option. Or the second option is we're still in the running flat, which means this may go up a little more, become a running flat, and then come back to retest the low before they go up. Right? That possibility exists. So there might be some more up here, but then after that, we'll have to be careful. So let's go to the daily and see whether there is actually some more up there. And as you can see, we had a buy setup last year here. And it's still a buy setup to go retest the top. Now, how high they go above the top is always a question, right? It could go very high, it might not go very high. We come in the 4-hour and then we see, well, yeah, we're getting a flag for upside. More of a correction here for upside. This is more of a correction, right? Not a flag, it's more of a correction happening. And then you go on the 1-hour and you look for a buy setup. And there is a buy setup actually, right? You're getting a flag here. See this flag here? We're getting a flag here. An entry above that flag with the possibility to break out of the top is a setup for us. So we would look for that trade. We would look for a buy setup. Can they actually come down some more? If it does come down some more, then we'll still be in this correction, right? We will still be in the corrective structure. So if it does come down to this level, we'll be in the corrective structure for a next upside, right? Once you get a flag like that, whether it's a big one or a small one, you will tend to go up. So I think the upside is what we're looking for. And well, this wasn't the buy. This was the buy to break the top. The first buy was here. The second buy was here. The third buy was here. You can go with a buy here. Literally, I'll be looking for a buy setup there today to the upside, right? Now, I'm not making trade calls. I'm giving you my views of what I think the chart would do, forecasting it to the upside using the method I use. Wave analysis, and then we will see how they go. Besides the forecast and the analysis, you need money management, you need risk management, you need strategies of how you're going to enter, what you're going to do, how you need trade management. I think the most important thing you need is how you manage your trades when you're in them, right? That's the most important thing. And wave analysis does give you a lot of help in doing that. So let's see, let's go. I'm looking for a buy setup here, and then we'll see if this changes the structure to downside or whether it's still going to break to the upside. US oil will probably be the same thing, very similar structure if you look at it in the bigger picture, right? A very similar structure you have. We're kind of in this big down move, and there is a high probability that this might be the running flat. This here might be the running flat, which means they go break the top, and then the chances are they can come back, retest the low, and then go up, making this into a bigger running flat pattern. Or this takes off and break the top, and this would be the running flat. I don't like this for the running flat. This one is not, that sharp. So we'll see, right? So right now we're looking for the upside in the daily. We've got a deep pullback here, a very deep pullback. I don't think this deep pullback is all the correction. Unless we're looking at this as the running flat here. If we're looking at this as the running flat, then yes, that could be all the correction. And this might be a smaller flat of its own. That is a possibility. If that's the case, the buy is a good idea, right? There's a good idea buying on the break of this. So you go into 4 hour, you can see we're consolidating. Pretty much the same consolidation you're getting in the, the same consolidation you're getting in the UK oil. And this one actually looks a little sharp down. So I'm not sure that this would be the one that go. It might just do this, come back here and then go, right? But if you take the trade, you'll have to manage it through. You keep a bigger stop and then see where that goes. So on the 1 hour, yes, there is a buy setup here. But if you take this buy setup and it doesn't break out of the top, it doesn't break out of the top, right? If you get this buy setup and it doesn't break out of the top, instead it comes here and it starts to go. So you'll have to expect that it will come back here and then go, right? That possibility exists. So this is something we manage very closely once we're in the trade to decide whether we stay with the trade or whether we exit the trade, right? Depending on how the pattern is going to develop after you get into the trade. But it's a buy setup. Natural gas. Natural gas is going sideways. Right now, we broke the low already. So there's a good chance that after you broke the low, this thing could totally drop, right? It could drop more because it seems like a correction here. Or if that is the end of the structure, we're going up. Well, we don't have an upside as yet, right? There isn't a buy setup as yet. We're still in the correction and in the downside. If this gives you a flag here, if we end up with a flag here, then we can consider one more impulse. When we break these top, any correction above there would be total buy because we did break the low, right? That means the pattern can be completed. It could also be a running flat, right? Which means that this comes back to this level. It comes back to this level and still drop. So that is why you wanted to break out of this and consolidate above it. Let's go into 1 hour. That's a buy setup. Short term, it's a buy setup. So short term, this is looking very flat. I wouldn't be surprised if they come like this and just do this and drop, right? That's something you can see, right? This was a good sell. This could be a short-term buy, and then we'll see if it drops. So the buy is a very short-term trade if you get it, until you break out of the entire structure there, right? US 30, you've got a flat, so it's a buy setup, right? You can make an argument for a flat here. You have a flat there. If you get a small flag here, that would be a buy setup. You need a 1 hour flag, right? This was a buy setup here. I think there was a buy setup here also. Take this out. We're actually in an uptrend on the daily. You can see that it's an uptrend. You're actually going up. We already broke the stop, so you'll be very careful with the buys now because the tops are broken already, right? When you break the top, the chances are they will start to, do this. See, every time they break the top, they start to do this kind of, slow movement, and then they come back. If you look at it in the bigger picture, you'll see that, right? Every time the top is broken. So like this one, right? You see, we broke the top here. They start to do this. They broke the top, they go sideways. They kind of go this sideways move like this, and then they drop again. So it's a buy, but you have to be careful, right? Put it in the 1 hour. Let's take this out. That was a buy also. Take that out. And now I would probably wait for this to give me a flag here. and then go for the buy. And if it starts to slow down, get out of the trade. If it goes fast, stay with the trade. Because if it slows down, what it's going to do is it's going to start to do this at the top. Right? We've seen that this whole structure behaves like that, right? This whole chart, if you look back at it at the daily, the entire chart moves like that. Where every time they break the tops, they tend to start to go sideways. And you can literally see it all over the place, right? They break the top, like you broke this top, you start to go up very slow. This one is the same thing. I'm showing you in the daily, but in the 1 hour, it's even worse, right? They break the top and then they start to go really, 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 really slow before you take off. So if this breaks the top, it starts to do this kind of a slow movement. On the daily, it looks slow, and these are very big ranges on the 1 hour. So those are ranges you can trade. So let's come back to the 1 hour. It's a buy setup, but with caution, because you broke the top, right? So you have to buy it, wait for a flag, take the trade, and then wait to see where it goes. S&P 500. This is a better buy because you have a bigger corrective structure here, and you're breaking out of it. So any little flag, there's a buy. Here's a good idea. Here, this was a buy. I think we missed this one. We saw it, but we missed it. But we got that one. We got this one. This would have been another buy. I don't think I was there that day. It would have been another buy. Where you're buying them to break the top, and we just broke the top. We broke the top, but we have a flag, so that's a continuation, right? If you have a correction like that, that's a continuation. What you would watch, you be careful of those continuation, because they make this and they go up a little and then they pull back and they go up a little and then they pull back and go up, same thing, right? So this will go up a little, probably pull back, go up a little, pull back. You could probably see repeating the same thing here, right? Because it has been that way all the time. Look at the entire structure going up, right? So you just have to be careful with those patterns. And now that you're in the buy, or if you wait for a flag to get in the buy, I'll probably wait for a flag now. Wait for a flag, get in the buy, and then see how far it goes. NASDAQ, pretty much easy. You're getting a big correction here. You're breaking out, wait for a flag buy. All right, wait for a flag buy. Big picture, this one is a better buy because we haven't broken the top as yet, see? You still have ways to go to break the top. So this was a buy, this was a buy, this would have been a buy if anybody was paying attention. If you get another setup here, that'd be a buy. You might get another one here, and then when you break the top, you'll start being careful about it, right? So on the daily, pretty much once you break that top, right, it's not going to go very far. It's going to start to pull back. You can see that they break the top, pull back, break the top, pull back. This one went a little, but with a lot of pullback in here and then a deep pullback, and this is a nice correction. So when they break the top, expect them to pull back. Go to the 1 hour. And there is space to break the top. So this should be a better trade to the upside. PayPal. PayPal is consolidating here, which means we would likely get one more low, right? PayPal is going up quite deep. I didn't think they were going to go that deep. It's still a correction. Nothing is wrong with the correction, right? It's just becoming a very deep correction. If you look at it this way, right? It's just a correction. This could drop one more here and then start going back up to the top, right? So that is pretty normal. I think we're going to drop one more. Let's see in the 1 hour. There's a high probability. Yes, it's just a 1 hour drop. It's not a big deal. And I think this is breaking out. You can see this one is breaking out to the upside. Once we tag this top, there's a chance you come back here, maybe even do this and then drop and then go back up. It will go back up, but you'd want this to prove it's coming down, making a low and then go back up, because this look like a flat right now. I wouldn't be buying it long-term anyways. Amazon, a little more downside. Yeah, this should be a little more downside. Let's see in the 4 hour what it looks like. Yeah, probably will give you some more downside. Amazon is making, when we were looking at Amazon in here, we were literally sure that this was making, just a big flatten up. But then it turns out that it's making a much bigger flat than that. I wouldn't be surprised if this turned out to be some big weird flat here. Probably go back there, come here, and then even go there. So we'll get a big flat here. You go up, you come down, and then takes off. So this in all would be just one big, huge flat pattern, right? A very complex one. So let's see, it could most likely a running flat. Short term, in this piece here, the 1 hour trade looks downside, very short term. Not a big move to the downside. I don't think it would be. Probably come break the low here. I'd give you this one, come down here, break the low, go back up first, break the low, and then start going back up. Right, so the downside is not a big trade, but once it breaks the low and start to go back up, the better trade would be with the buy. Next. Okay, so the buy was from here. We wanted the buy from here to break the top. It did break the top. If you close your trade there, you did the right thing. You should have re-entered somewhere in the break of this. That is here. And that wasn't here. So that would have been a re-entry. You've got an entry there to break this top. We're going to expect this on the bigger daily to go break the top again, right? It's heading back up. So there's a good chance it would go and break this top. Now be careful. This has a correction in it. And this move down is sharp. So there's a good chance that once you get a little up there, you're going to come back here and then go, making a bigger flat here. I think there's a very, very high probability for that, making a bigger flat there, right? Because we broke this top, we can take this out. That is useless. The low is still valid. We need the low. And watch this in here. I think we're heading for a running flat. So this might not go very far, and then we get a move down here, but then we go up. This would be a perfect flat pattern here. So if you're buying, you have to be careful. There's a good chance that it's about to turn. You don't have to get out of the trade, you just have to move your stops. It could be a running flat, and a running flat could be a long drawn out running flat. German 30 is the same thing. It's better. It hasn't broken the top yet, so there's still somewhere to go. And it does look like a big correction. AU200. Okay, it finally spiked up and broke this top. That is what we wanted, but it looks like it's going to break this top as well. Well, if we break that top, we're still going to have a running flat. So if they go and break this top, it will become a running flat and then one more up, right? If you break that top, it's confirming that when you come down back, you're going to go back up one more. That's all. Put it in the 1 hour. Did we break that top? Let's see. Well, not as yet, but we're about to break it, which means I'll be heading for a running flat. And I think we'll get this becoming a run. Break the top, come down back, and then go again. I don't think the correction is over. So I would expect them to break that top, come back here, and then go. So once it breaks the top, we start looking for a sell setup. Nifty. But I know a lot of you trade Nifty, so it's coming back up. This correction is over, and we were going to break that up again. So look for buy setups. Go into 1 hour and look for buy setups. I think this would have been a good buy setup. We were buying this running flat last year, that running flat there. You probably would have got it from here going up, wait for another flag, and then go for the trade. Tesla. 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, sorry for that. Like I said this morning, my son is an online schooling, so there's a little disturbance every now and then. Sorry about that. Let's go. Yeah, so Tesla dropped. It's breaking out. There was a nice flag. This was the sell to break the low, and now we're going back up. The only question you probably have here now, let's take this out. That was the sell to break the low. We broke the low. We're going back up. The only question you probably have here was whether that is all the consolidation. It could be, because if we go with this as the running flat, I think we were heading for this as the running flat. Heading for that as a running flat, that means this is going to take off. Right? So when we remember when this was going up, we were like, well, this has to happen. And that was where this arrow came from. Seems like magic, right? It came direct to where the arrow stopped. This arrow is from here. They're equal. Came here and now it's going up. Let's see if that's all, then we're going up. Any flag you get is a buy setup, right? So you can go in the hour and any flag you get, actually there was one here, but this gapped. I don't know how you would have traded that. So if you get another correction here, that should be a buy setup. Right. Let's go. And copper. Yep, copper is kind of going sideways. I think we expect it to come back down. I don't think that is over. I think this might be a running flat. We're heading for a running flat there. So this should come back down and then go up. Right, we're looking at copper this way. On a big sideways note, come back here and then go up, because this looks similar to this flat, right? Kind of a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we're looking at this as a 1, a 2, and a 3 here before you go. So I'm expecting this to come back here, whether or not we get a trade, and then we'll go up. Is there a chance that this is over here? Let's say, for example, could it be that this is actually the end of it and we're going up? Sometimes that might be possible, depending on if you look at this one as an expanding flat. If you look at that as an expanding flat, this is the end of it. We can be in a contracting flat here, which means this becomes a contracting flat and this goes up. What we look for is what this does. It's pretty easy. If this goes back above this top here, that's a buy to break the top, right? So we can look at it 2 ways. Go on the 1 hour and say to put an entry order above this top, right? If we break that top, we're definitely heading up, right? If we break out of that top, we're heading upside. So buy somewhere above here, or with a flag or something, a buy here with a flag or something would be a good idea. If this comes back down, and I think most likely I'm heading for the downside. If this comes back down here, you can look for a sell with a flag here, a sell with a flag here, and then you can look for the downside and then look for the buy. If this comes down, it will be an amazing upside, because that will give you a perfect flat pattern, right? If it comes down and break the low and then go back up, it's a perfect flat pattern. So this trade would be amazing. If it goes from here, I'll be it's a good trade, but I'll be skeptical. I'll be watching this to see if it still comes. Right, because remember, we haven't broken the low and we didn't break the top. So that means you would have to be very cautious of this being a contracting flat. So the buy from this point would be cautious, but if it breaks the low and then go back, the buy is an amazing one. Okay, we'll continue with crypto here, and then we'll see where it goes from there. So let's go Bitcoin. Let's do the big picture in Bitcoin. So the big picture in Bitcoin is that this thing is making a running flat here, right? And if you go back and you watch my webinar when this was happening, I was like, we have a sharp wave here. No matter what happened, we will have to have a second sharp wave, which means a second sharp wave down here is very possible. Well, I was expecting this to go down, and then it came up. I was like, when it breaks the top, it's going to come down. Again, if you're not a wave analysis trader, you would assume that when it breaks the top, it's going to take off like a rocket. And somebody did mention that on my YouTube channel, that this guy is crazy. When it breaks the top, it's going to take off. It's not going to come back down. Well, I think time has proven that I'm not that crazy, and that these patterns actually do exist. So I expect this to make a flat here, which is a 1, 2, 3. Now, can it be a more complex one like this here and then go? Absolutely. That's the thing about wave analysis. You know the possibilities, right? We will see whether it becomes a complex pattern. I'm not going to forecast that now, but we will see whether that becomes a complex pattern as the pattern develops, and we'll make that forecast. But this would eventually break out. So good news for people who trade Bitcoin. It will get higher. It will go higher. How high, I don't know. I'm just putting high. The reason I put it like this is because I'm assuming they might move this much. Right? I'm assuming they might move that much up. And that means depending on where it goes, it could probably do that. Now, I'm not sure about that. I'm just assuming that. And that's just an assumption that they would be equal. I don't know that they would be equal, right? It might just break the top and come. It might go higher than that. But once it breaks this top, you would have to be very, very careful. Absolutely careful. Because if you know anything about wave analysis, breaking that top could be the point from where it starts falling really, really crazy. Now, I don't know. Is it a bubble? I'm not going to tell you about that. You'll figure that out yourself. Time. I think we would live through the time to see it, right? We will live through the time to see it. But in terms of how you can trade it, I think we can trade it on using wave analysis pretty good, right? So is it going to come lower? This was the low. We are forecasting the low to be here, which is an equal of the previous one. It doesn't have to be equal, and it stopped here. And can we assume that this is actually making a flat for upside, or is it still trying to come break the low and then go back up? break this low, and then go back up. And both of those are possible right now, because if you look at this pattern in the daily, I think this is a 1, 2, 3 for downside. If you look at it in the 4-hour, you can make an argument for this being an impulse, this being a correction, this being an impulse. So you've got a flat there, and this is actually trying to go down. You can make an argument for that, breaking this low and then go back up. So that possibility exists. Now, do we have a sell setup here? No, we don't. Do we have a buy setup? No, we don't, because this will go up back a little, but it might just be a flat here eventually that drops. I don't think it's a takeoff. Right, so this might just be, because of the depth that it came back, it might just be a flat there, make a flat here. Let me erase that again. This might just make a flat here. I could see this coming back here, maybe even doing a few of this here, making a bigger flat, and then look for a drop. So if you get a bigger flat like this here, expect the drop. And the drop should break this low. And then we would confirm that this is the flat here, which it looks like it is, because we broke the top and we're coming down. This is a sharp move down. You're getting consolidation here. That's a good drop. After which you might consider buying. So if you're an investor in this, you might allow it to break this low in the 39,000, 38,000. And if you're still interested in buying, that's your buying point. Now, how low would it go? Again, for me, the criteria is breaking this low. It doesn't even have to break this low, but can it break that low? Of course it can. That will be something where we call an expanding flat, right? That is a known pattern that exists, whereas they might or might not break the low. Now, if you're looking for a sell setup, what does it matter to you whether they'll break this low or not? Actually, you are happy if it becomes an expanding flat. You're not buying just because it dropped, right, to this level. You'll have to have a setup to buy, which means it will have to turn and give you that setup before you start considering buys. ETH, I think this one would also come down. The only thing I don't like about this is the way this is coming down. It's not sharp. The same thing with here. This one wasn't that sharp, and then it didn't go down. So can we have a long, drawn-out running flat here, where this, instead of coming down, just do this, go back up there, and then come. And that possibility exists, right? We can't say that that doesn't exist. I just don't like the way this is coming down. It is coming down. That was a sell. This was a sell. Take this off. This here is probably a sell. Let's go in the 4-hour. Yep, that is a sell setup also you're getting here. We're literally getting a sell setup here, right? Just like this was a sell setup. And just like this here was a sell setup. Let's see. The only thing about these sell setups is this sharp one here that I don't like, right? That's a sharp one. If anything, there's a good chance you could drop here, go back up there, make a flat here, come back here, and then go up, right? All of this would be a bigger flat pattern for upside. And then we get the downside. Can it actually continue to drop lower? It can, but then we would have to have a long drawn out running flat, because if this drops like this, we'll have to go back up and then come here and then go. We don't have to break this low, by the way, because the running flat. The expectation is it would be a running flat and then upside again, which means we're going to go higher on this too, right? If this turns out to be what we think it is, a big consolidation, we're going to go higher. So some more down and then upside, or go up, just break this low, go up to the top, come back down, and then go. XRP. This one is very, very, very nice because you can see the structure very clearly. Go to the weekly, and this is what you have, right? It came down to this level, and then it started to go back up. You're getting a flat here. Right, whatever that is a flat. Even if it comes back here, it's a flat. We will go back and retest this top. There's a high probability we're going to come back. Depending on how high you go here, we're going to come back here and then we're going to go up. Right, so this would be the biggest flat in the whole structure. So it's going to be like a 1, 2, 3, after which you'll have to come down and then take off, making this the biggest flat in the entire structure. So once this happened, that would confirm the B wave here. And then we'll come down maybe slowly to this level and then go back, not to zero, but literally come back down and then go. Can this take off in the running flat pattern, which means Can we finish this whole thing here? Come back here, go there, break the top, literally break the top. You know, just keep going up, 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 break the top, come back like this and then go. Yes, this would be a running flat pattern. We'll go with this as a running flat pattern. So that possibility also exists. You're in a very nice flat here, which makes it easy to trade. You understand this piece much better. We're getting a sell setup. This was a perfect sell setup, by the way. We're getting another sell setup here. Drop. Well, can we look at this as only correction? This is an expanding flat and that is only correction. I think it's possible. Go for the sell, see how far it takes you. And once we break this low, you'll be careful. And once we break this low, what if this sell doesn't go very far? What if this sell just drops to this level and decide to go back up? We will go with this as the running flat. We'll wait for a flag here and we'll buy back to break the top. See, this would be 1, 2, 3, and then downside. I think this option is the better one. The sell here could be a short-term sell. Turn around, give you a flag for upside, and then the buy becomes amazing. Back to, you'll be buying somewhere around, I don't know, 9,090 to about 1.4, 1.5. That's okay. And then a sell back to retest the 40 area, and then you start buying from around 40 something upside, because from 40 something upside would be the bigger one. Because we're going to be breaking this one, breaking 2, we'll come back to about 3 maybe. Let's go. ADA. Daily, we're going sideways. Literally, you're going sideways here. Take that out. That was the buy. It didn't go very far, but it still was a buy. This one broke the top. We're going down. So we'll assume that more downside, right? We'd assume that we made a 1, 2, 3. And this is making a flag to come and break the low. When we break the low, the chance are they can go back up. Let's look at a big picture and see whether that upside is possible. Yeah, it is. Depending on how you look at this piece, right? If this was a flat here of its own, which is what? This is a sharp pullback. You can go with 1, 2, 3. Then this piece here would make sense coming to break this low and then going back up. You can go with an argument for a flat like that. I think it makes sense. It could be more complex than that, but you can actually make an argument for that one, and then it's upside. So some more down and then upside. Let's see, GRT. This is downside. I think this is pretty easy. I don't know who trades this, if you guys trade this, but this is downside. They're all short-term downside. Dash, downside, pretty easy. You know, and this is the big picture. The smaller picture, you just go and look for your flags and then sell. Right, so this is down. Here's the problem. We have this. So this comes here, it definitely goes back there, then come down again, because that will complete this flat. Definitely comes back here and then take off, because that will complete this flat. See, we have a flat here of its own. You can see that. And there are many flats previous to that. So we're making a big, all of them are making really big corrections for upside, which might be good for you guys if you trade. Just keep track of them. And by the way, if you would like to follow us on how we do this, you can join us and keep track of that as well with us. So here we're getting a correction, and that correction definitely looks downside, right? You're getting a correction here, and that looks downside. One more. We still have these sharp waves here, so I wouldn't be surprised if this actually go back up. There's a lot of sharp waves. Let's see with the weekly what it looks like. Yeah, once we break this low, we're going to expect upside. So come break the low and then go right back up. Good. Look for the sell setup. Looks more like a big flat pattern forming here. So let's see. It should break this top first. So first you'd have to go and break this top and then look for the downside. LRC, pretty much the same thing. It's just going sideways, kind of flat sideways, and then upside. We just needed a little more here. We just needed to come and break this low. Basically, just drop there, break the low, and then you can start to look for the upside. Could it be more complex than that? It's possible because this piece is going down really slow. So if you're going to have a more complex pattern, what is going to happen is that this here comes here, go back there, make a flat, drop like this, go back up, come back down, go back up, then drop. So a more complex pattern here is possible. Okay, this one is really sharp too. This is becoming the most corrective part of it. LTC. Okay, this is easy. You're heading down. The question is, can we go with a contracting flat here, or are we going to go back up? Right? Is this going to come here and go back up there and then come down for this flat? I think that's possible. Right? Because, but if you're going to go for a sell here, just be careful. Right? And the last one, Forex. So let's see. Yep, this one did go up, take that out. It did come down, but this looks more upside. In the big picture, this looks more upside too, right? Because in the big picture, this piece here does look like a big expanding flat. So I wouldn't be surprised if this comes a little here, go back up there, right? Make a big expanding flat here, then come down like that for the bigger structure like this. I think that's a very likely possibility. Can this actually work its way down from there and make the flat? It's possible, but not. I really don't like the structure with this piece going up to be the final impulse. So I'd be more careful that this actually goes back up, break this stop, and then come down. Just keep an eye on which direction you get a setup for. Right now, we're not getting any setup for any direction. I'll watch the breakout of this. Sorry. The breakout of this for this move up. This is the first move you want to get, and then we'll see how high that goes. So, okay, guys, that's it. So one of the things, if you're a crypto trader, we might do this year again. Everybody keep telling me these are not the best ones. This was the best ones for last year we chose. We would like to keep it to 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would probably add 1 or 2 more if we do it as a separate webinar, but we want 12 of the most popular ones. So you can go follow me and share vision, share your views of which are the 12 most popular ones, and then we'll choose from those, right? Everybody will share their views. Everybody wants the one they trade, but that might not be the most popular one. The best thing is to learn to trade it the way we trade, and then you can choose whichever one you want, right? So, okay, guys, thank you very much. Please, if you like this, share it, like, comment. I would see you again today later because I still have to do the crosses, which means I will do one webinar on the crosses. That might not be in YouTube. If you're watching this, that might be only in shared vision. So please follow me here to get it. Thank you very much. Bye.